5 relatives to avoid after turning 65. As we move into our golden years, life becomes more about cherishing peace, celebrating small joys, and nurturing meaningful relationships. However, not all relationships contribute positively to our well-being. Some relatives, intentionally or unintentionally, may drain your energy, steal your joy, or undermine your independence. It's not about cutting people off, but rather about setting boundaries to protect your peace of mind. Here are 5 types of relatives to approach with caution after turning 65, as well as guidance on how to navigate these dynamics with wisdom and grace. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. The emotional storm chaser. Every visit feels like a whirlwind of drama. We all have that one relative, the one who carries chaos wherever they go. They're the ones who call you not to ask how you're doing, but to unload the latest saga in their life. They find crises in the mundane, turn disagreements into battles, and leave you feeling emotionally wrung out after every interaction. It's not that they're bad people. Often, they don't realize the toll their behavior takes on those around them. But as you age, the stakes are higher. Protecting your peace is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Imagine this: you're finally sitting down with a cup of tea on a quiet morning, looking out at the garden or reading a favorite book, and the phone rings. It's your emotional storm chaser relative. Before you can even say hello, they launch into the latest catastrophe, perhaps a minor inconvenience at work, a misunderstanding with a friend, or another family drama that somehow becomes your problem. By the time the conversation ends, your tranquil morning has evaporated, replaced by the weight of their troubles. At this stage in your life, you deserve calm. Your emotional energy is precious, and constantly being pulled into someone else's whirlwind can drain your reserves faster than you might realize. Research has shown that chronic stress can lead to numerous health issues, including heart disease, impaired immunity, and even cognitive decline. It's not just about avoiding discomfort, it's about safeguarding your health and well-being. So, how do you handle this without cutting them off entirely? It starts with boundaries, which are not walls, but bridges to healthy relationships. The first step is recognizing that you are not obligated to fix their problems when they call. Listen with compassion, but resist the urge to dive into their storm. Offer simple affirmations like, "That sounds really tough," but steer clear of getting involved or offering solutions unless absolutely necessary. If the pattern continues, it may be time to have an honest conversation. You could say something like, "I value our relationship, but I've realized that getting involved in too much drama isn't good for my health. I hope you understand if I take a step back from certain situations." These conversations can be uncomfortable, but they're also liberating. You're teaching them, and yourself, that your peace matters. It's also essential to fill the space left by these interactions with positivity. Spend more time with people who uplift and energize you. Reconnect with old friends who share your values or join local groups where you can meet others who bring joy into your life. Rediscover the activities that make you feel centered, whether it's gardening, painting, or taking quiet walks in nature. The emotional storm chaser relative may always carry their cloud with them, but you don't have to stand in the rain. By choosing peace, you're not only protecting your own well-being, but you're also showing them, in your own quiet way, what a life of balance and calm can look like. Sometimes the best way to inspire change in others is by living it yourself. 2. The financial freeloader. It's okay to help, but not at the expense of your peace of mind or your retirement savings. As we grow older, the fruits of a lifetime of hard work become something to cherish. Retirement isn't just about stepping away from work. It's about entering a phase of life where you can finally enjoy the freedom you've earned. For many, this means traveling, pursuing hobbies, or simply enjoying quiet days surrounded by family and friends. But what happens when someone in your family sees your savings as their safety net, the solution to every financial misstep? The financial freeloader often starts subtle. They may begin with a small request, such as a loan to cover an unexpected bill or help with something they claim is temporary. At the moment, it feels natural to help. After all, they're family, and what's a small gesture compared to the gratitude you imagine they'll feel? But soon those small requests begin to add up, and their emergencies become routine. The gratitude you expected starts to feel more like entitlement. You begin to notice the pattern. They turn to you not because they truly have no other option, but because you've always said yes. It's an uncomfortable position to be in, especially for those of us raised to put family first. There's a lingering guilt that whispers, "If you don't help, who will?" But here's the truth: continually giving at the expense of your own financial security is neither sustainable nor fair. You've worked hard for your money, and while generosity is beautiful, it should never come at the cost of your peace of mind or the future you've planned for yourself. Your savings are meant to support your dreams, your needs, and the unexpected turns life may throw your way. Living on a fixed income in retirement requires careful planning and an understanding that your financial resources aren't infinite. When a family member repeatedly leans on you for money, it's not just your finances at stake, it's your emotional well-being too. Over time, resentment can creep in, and what was once an act of kindness starts to feel like an obligation, draining the joy out of the relationship. So, how do you navigate this without severing ties? It starts with clarity and compassion. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to be honest about what you can and cannot do. If a family member comes to you asking for money, take a moment to reflect before answering. Ask yourself, will this help them in the long term, or am I enabling a pattern? If you feel that saying yes would compromise your own security or reinforce unhealthy habits, it's okay to decline. When you say no, do it with kindness but firmness. You might say, "I'm sorry, but I need to focus on managing my own finances right now." If you feel comfortable, offer non-monetary support instead. You could guide them toward local resources, suggest budgeting tools, or help them explore community programs that provide financial assistance. These alternatives show that you care without taking on a burden that isn't yours to bear. It's also important to shift your perspective about what helping truly means. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can give someone is the opportunity to solve their own problems. By stepping back, you allow them to develop resilience and learn to navigate challenges independently. This doesn't mean you love them any less. It means you trust in their ability to grow. At the same time, focus on celebrating your own financial freedom. Take pride in the fact that you've worked hard to create stability for yourself. Treat your savings as a tool to invest in your happiness, whether that's through small indulgences, memorable experiences with loved ones, or the simple comfort of knowing you're secure. The financial freeloader may never fully understand your decision to say no, and that's okay. What matters is that you protect what you've built and live your life with the peace and confidence you've earned. Remember, generosity should feel fulfilling, not draining. You can only give freely to others when you first ensure your own cup is full. 3. The overbearing advisor. Their way is always the right way, but is it the right way for you? In every family, there's often someone who seems to think they've mastered the art of living. The overbearing advisor is the relative who always has an opinion on your diet, daily habits, financial choices, or even how you spend your free time. They might mean well, but their insistence on knowing what's best for you can feel like a quiet erosion of your independence. As you grow older, these interactions may start to sting more, not because they are loud or aggressive, but because they subtly suggest that your years of experience, wisdom, and intuition count for less than their opinions. Picture this: you've spent decades navigating life's complexities, making countless decisions, and learning from every success and misstep. You've earned the right to embrace what works for you. But here comes this relative, questioning your choices, sometimes with a casual remark, other times with relentless advice. They might say, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Or, "You'd be better off doing it this way." Slowly, their words chip away at your confidence, leaving you wondering if you should second-guess yourself. The harm of the overbearing advisor isn't always in what they say, but in how it makes you feel, like you need their approval to validate your decisions. This can create unnecessary stress, and over time it may even lead to self-doubt. It's frustrating to feel like your hard-earned wisdom is dismissed, especially at a stage of life where you should be celebrating your autonomy and unique perspective. But here's the truth: your life is yours to live, and no one, no matter how knowledgeable or well-intentioned, has the right to dictate what's best for you. Your experiences, values, and intuition are powerful guides. They've brought you this far, and they'll continue to serve you well. What worked for someone else might not work for you, and that's perfectly okay. So how do you navigate interactions with the overbearing advisor without turning every conversation into a confrontation? The key lies in reclaiming your voice while maintaining respect for theirs. When they offer unsolicited advice, acknowledge their intentions but remain firm in your stance. For example, you might say, "I appreciate your concern, but I've thought this through and feel confident in my choice." This shows that you value their input but are fully capable of making your own decisions. Another approach is to redirect the conversation. Instead of focusing on what they think you should do, guide the discussion toward shared experiences or memories. For instance, you might say, "That's an interesting point, but I found that this approach works for me. By the way, do you remember when we..." Shifting the topic gently can help diffuse tension and remind them that your relationship isn't solely about advice or debate. It's also helpful to reflect on why their behavior bothers you. Is it because you feel unheard, or perhaps because their advice triggers fears or insecurities you didn't realize you had? By understanding your emotional response, you can approach the situation with greater clarity and compassion, not just for them but for yourself. At the same time, make a conscious effort to surround yourself with people who respect and celebrate your independence. Spend time with friends or family members who encourage your choices and uplift your confidence. Engage in activities that reinforce your sense of self, whether it's taking up a new hobby, traveling, or embracing moments of quiet reflection where you can reconnect with your inner wisdom. The overbearing advisor doesn't need to be an obstacle in your life. Instead, they can be an opportunity, a chance to practice asserting yourself and valuing your own voice. By setting boundaries and standing firm in your decisions, you're not just protecting your peace of mind, you're also modeling the strength of living authentically. Remember, advice is just that, advice. It's a suggestion, not a mandate. You've earned the right to choose what feels right for you, guided by the knowledge and intuition you've cultivated over a lifetime. The beauty of this stage in life is the freedom to chart your own path without needing anyone's approval. Trust yourself. You're wiser than you may realize. 4. The emotional manipulator. If you cared, you'd do it. Sound familiar? There's a unique discomfort that comes from being manipulated by someone you love. The emotional manipulator is that family member who knows exactly how to pull on your heartstrings. Their words may sound innocent, but they're laced with guilt. "After all I've done for you." Or, "I thought you cared about family." It's a subtle yet powerful way of bending your will to their desires, leaving you feeling trapped between their needs and your own well-being. For those in their later years, this dynamic can be particularly draining. You've spent a lifetime giving to your family, your career, and your community. Now is the time when you should be able to say no without guilt, prioritizing your own health, happiness, and peace. Yet emotional manipulators have a way of making even the most justified boundaries feel like acts of betrayal. They create a narrative where their happiness hinges entirely on your compliance, making it incredibly hard to walk away from their demands. But here's the truth: constantly giving in to guilt-driven requests doesn't foster love or connection, it breeds resentment. It's a one-sided relationship where your needs are perpetually overshadowed by theirs, and over time, this emotional burden can manifest as anxiety, stress, or even depression, especially when you feel like no matter how much you give, it's never enough. The challenge with the emotional manipulator is that their tactics are rooted in familiarity. They know you well, they know what you value, what you fear, and what you strive to be. If you pride yourself on being kind and dependable, they'll lean on those traits, pushing you to prove your love by sacrificing your own comfort. This is why it feels so personal when they lay on the guilt. It's not just about what they're asking for, but about questioning your very identity. So how do you break free from this cycle without fracturing the relationship? It begins with recognizing that their guilt-inducing comments are not a reflection of your character, but a reflection of their own struggles. Their need for control often stems from fear of rejection, fear of losing influence, or fear of facing their problems alone. Understanding this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it helps you approach the situation with clarity and compassion. When they make you feel guilty, pause and take a deep breath. Remind yourself that setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's necessary. Respond with kindness but firmness, such as, "I understand this is important to you, but I have to make decisions that are right for me right now." You don't owe a lengthy explanation or justification. A simple, honest response is enough. It's also helpful to practice saying no in a way that reinforces your love for them. For instance, you might say, "I can't help in the way you're asking, but I care about you and want to see you succeed. Let's find another solution together." This shifts the dynamic from one of conflict to one of collaboration, showing them that your boundaries don't diminish your care for them. Equally important is learning to let go of the lingering guilt after you've set a boundary. It's natural to second-guess yourself, especially when faced with a manipulator's disappointment or frustration. But remember, their emotions are their responsibility, not yours. You cannot and should not carry the weight of someone else's happiness on your shoulders. To strengthen your resolve, surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and affirm your choices. Spend time with friends or family members who make you feel valued for who you are, not for what you can do for them. Engage in activities that nourish your spirit, whether it's attending a community group, diving into a creative hobby, or simply taking quiet moments to reflect on all the ways you've given generously throughout your life. Ultimately, dealing with an emotional manipulator isn't about shutting them out, it's about reclaiming your sense of agency. It's about recognizing that your worth is not tied to your ability to please others, but to the kindness, wisdom, and strength you bring to every interaction. By setting boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, you're also setting an example of healthy relationships built on mutual respect, not guilt. Remember, the love and care you've shown over the years speak for themselves. You don't need to prove your devotion through endless sacrifices. The greatest gift you can give yourself, and those around you, is the courage to live authentically with your peace of mind intact. 5. The subtle controller. At first glance, the subtle controller may seem like a blessing in your life. They're the family member who always steps up, offering to help with everything from managing your appointments to making financial decisions or organizing your household. Their involvement feels supportive, perhaps even comforting, because they appear to be looking out for your best interests. But over time, you might notice a shift. Their help begins to feel less like support and more like control, and before you know it, you're left questioning how much of your independence you've given away. It can happen so gradually that you don't even realize it's happening. Maybe it starts with them insisting they'll handle small tasks to make your life easier. Then they begin suggesting bigger decisions with comments like, "You don't need to worry about this, I'll take care of it." Or, "It's just easier if I do it for you." At first, you might feel relief. After all, letting someone else take charge of a few responsibilities can feel like a weight off your shoulders. But as their involvement grows, so does the feeling that you're losing control over your own life. What makes the subtle controller particularly difficult to spot is that their actions often stem from genuine care. They believe they're helping, and they may even have the best of intentions. However, their behavior can unintentionally chip away at your autonomy, leaving you feeling incapable, unheard, or dependent. This is especially disheartening as you age, a time when maintaining your independence is essential to your sense of self and dignity. The harm in this dynamic isn't just the loss of control, it's the erosion of confidence. When someone consistently steps in to make decisions for you, it sends the unspoken message that you're no longer capable of managing your own life, and over time, that message can take root, leading to self-doubt, frustration, and even resentment. But here's the truth: your independence is one of the most valuable gifts you've cultivated over a lifetime. The ability to make decisions, big or small, is a reflection of your experience, wisdom, and individuality. No one has the right to take that away from you, even under the guise of helping. You've spent decades navigating life's challenges and triumphs, and you are more than capable of continuing to do so. So how do you address this dynamic without alienating someone who genuinely cares? It starts with clear communication and self-assertion. The next time they offer to take over something you can handle yourself, politely decline. Say, "I appreciate your offer, but I'd like to do this on my own. It's a simple but powerful way to reaffirm your autonomy while acknowledging their intentions. If they push back or insist that their way is easier, gently remind them of your capabilities. I know you're trying to help, but it's important to me to stay involved in these decisions. I feel more confident and in control when I handle things myself. Framing it this way shifts the focus from their actions to your needs, making it harder for them to argue without coming across as dismissive. It's also essential to establish boundaries, especially when it comes to areas of your life where control matters most: your health, finances, and daily routines. For example, if they've taken over scheduling your medical appointments or managing your bills, consider taking back that responsibility or seeking professional support instead. Having a neutral third party, such as a financial advisor or caregiver, can help ensure your needs are met without any unintended power struggles. At the same time, focus on rebuilding your confidence in areas where you may feel uncertain. If technology intimidates you, take a class or ask a trusted friend to teach you how to navigate online banking or video calls. If physical limitations make certain tasks challenging, explore tools or resources that can empower you to maintain control, like mobility aids or delivery services. Every small step you take to assert your independence reinforces your ability to live life on your terms. It's worth noting that addressing the subtle controller isn't about pushing them away. It's about redefining the relationship in a way that respects both your independence and their desire to help. By setting boundaries and expressing your needs, you're giving them the opportunity to support you in a way that truly benefits you. In doing so, you're also preserving the integrity of your relationship, ensuring it remains rooted in mutual respect rather than unintended control. Above all, remind yourself that your independence is not just a practical matter, it's a reflection of who you are. It's the culmination of a lifetime of experiences, lessons, and growth. You have the right to make your own decisions, take risks, and live authentically. No one, no matter how well-meaning, can take that away from you unless you let them. Your later years are a time to celebrate the freedom you've earned, not to relinquish it. Embrace your autonomy with pride and let those around you see that while their care is appreciated, your wisdom and strength are more than enough to guide you through this beautiful chapter of life. Protecting your peace, celebrating your independence life after 65 is a profound chapter, a time to embrace the freedom you've worked so hard to achieve, nurture the relationships that uplift you, and savor the beauty of living on your own terms. But these years are not just about enjoying what's ahead, they're also about making intentional choices to protect your peace, preserve your independence, and honor your well-being. The truth is, not every relationship is meant to grow with you into this stage of life. Some relatives, despite their intentions, can drain your emotional energy, undermine your confidence, or disrupt the harmony you deserve. Recognizing these dynamics and setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it's an act of wisdom. It's about valuing the life you've built and ensuring that the years ahead are filled with joy, fulfillment, and authenticity. Remember, boundaries aren't about shutting people out, they're about creating a space where mutual respect can thrive. By saying no to relationships or behaviors that hinder your happiness, you're saying yes to the things that truly matter: your health, your dreams, and the connections that bring you genuine joy. As you move forward, let this be your mantra: my life is my own. Let no one make you feel guilty for prioritizing your well-being. Let no one make you doubt the wisdom you've gained over a lifetime. And let no one take away the peace you've worked so hard to cultivate. Surround yourself with people who see your value, who respect your voice, and who celebrate the unique journey you've traveled. Find joy in the small moments, in the laughter of friends, in the warmth of a sunrise, and in the quiet confidence of knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. This is your time to live boldly, love deeply, and cherish every moment with the grace and wisdom that only a life well lived can bring. Protect your peace, celebrate your independence, and remember, the best chapters are often the ones where you write the story your way. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.